Good morning. Well, this morning we're heading to do a garage pad. She's about, I'm going to say, an hour drive from here, but that's not a big deal. And we will go get her done. Just going to grab my grease gun so we can grease the machine when we get there. And it's a 24 by 24 garage. So we're going to make the pad 26 by 26. And I think we're going to give it a little bit of an apron off of the driveway of 3 feet or so. So that's what we're doing today. So we got everything loaded, ready to go. Truck is running. Yeah, we got a new truck, boys. We'll do a review on this one. She's a beaut, Clark. All right, let us roll. All right, we're gonna set the transit here. And I made a huge mistake this morning and I broke my receiver. All right, now that I've done all that walking, I am ready to get my grade set on my boom. Like I said earlier, I broke my magnetic receiver, and I'm gonna have to use the receiver that comes with the Transit, and I'll be able to get it put on my bracket that I made, and that's what I use. So just getting ready and starting to set up the process, check my depth, and then I'm going to transfer the grade stick receiver onto my boom so I can use that today, because the other one I was unable to get it to work. The case is all cracked. I will insert a picture of it and show you what I did. It was a stupid mistake. I set it on the front of my boom to be able to put my bracket in, and I forgot about it, and when I curled the bucket up like it is right now, it was down quite low and it crunched it big time. So sucks to be me. So now that I got my receiver set on my bracket, I can dig away here. I just started on this end and I'm going to work my way to the other end. This just helps me to give me a rough reference where I'm at when I'm doing this type of work. I've been using the same system when I'm doing the pools, and if you watch when I swing back around, you'll see that I've got most of the pad already dug out. I'm doing some extra that the customer asked for, and once I get this pile moved, I'm going to go right over to the surface of the pavement and add a little bit of extra crushed rock, bigger than the pad that we originally were going to do. For some reason, I'm having issues with my GoPro. They keep shutting down. I'm not sure if it's my SD cards or the GoPros need replaced. But just let some of this video play of me just swinging some dirt over out of the way.
tractor.
Want to come up?
Wait, be careful. Go out. Climb up. There you go.
How are you making out?
Thank you.
You sit right on my lap, right here.
Come here, Bill.
Where do we go?
Watch. We're going to dig. Hold on. Dig. Up. Wait, get a little more. You like to dig? So when I got here in the morning and setting up the dimensions for the pad, squaring it up and all that, I heard some hollering over on the other side of the property, and I seen this elderly gentleman hollering for his wife or his daughter-in-law. The little young fella that you just seen get up on the excavator, he got stung in the eye and on the side of the nose and on his back. There was a hornet's nest in the playhouse that's in the round back. These people are visiting from Ontario, and so he's doing pretty good. I went over and checked on him. I told the parents that I was a first responder, and I took a look. He got stung on the eyelid, and it wasn't in his eye, and he toughened up pretty quick as I was talking to him. I suggested that they use some Benadryl and to try to help the swelling down. Anyway, they were over here watching, and I got him to jump up on the machine, and I took him for a few swings, and he thought it was great. So I know when I was a kid, I enjoyed the excavator or any equipment. So the customer wanted to keep the dirt that we're getting out of here. They got some spots that they're going to be able to use it. It looked like it was pretty good topsoil dirt. The caretaker thought it was quite muddy, but that's just the type of dirt it is. And but they'll be able to use it to fix some spots around the yard, holes, and be able to seed that, and that'll work pretty good. You see the pile that we have building here as I'm scooping all this out, and we did take 2 big loads in my truck across the street. The caretaker here was fixing up a retaining wall that fell over and using some of the dirt over there, so they do have a fair amount of material here to do some work with and move around the property. When you bid a job like this, being able to leave the material on site is huge because it adds up pretty quick. And if I had to haul all this material away, one, I'm not near my residence, so I'd have to find a place to dump it, and bringing it home wouldn't have been an option. But it saves a lot of time. When you think about taking a load somewhere and dropping it off, if you're going any distance, you could be an hour turnaround, you could be or more. So being able to leave this stuff here certainly makes a big difference. And that reflects in the price. So when I first looked at this job, I figured I would be 2 days. So I figured the first day would be digging out this pad, and I chose to hire a company to bring me some crushed rock. I figured I was going to need between 30 and 35 ton of crushed rock. We might have been able to do it with just a very good gravel, but again, I'm not in the local area, so we just did 0 to 3/4 for the base layer. And I'm trying to get this all dug out because the first load is on its way here shortly. So I started at 8:30, and I figured I would need my rock by 1:30. Now he got here just shortly before I was ready, but the last 12 feet that I've been digging out is extra work that I didn't account for because the customer added it once I got there. So that's all good. So we actually have 60 ton of 0 to 3/4 coming this afternoon, and my original goal was to have it dug out, have the 0 to 3/4 placed on the pad, and have it compacted before the end of the day. Well, my rock showed up almost on time. He was a little bit late, but it was fine. I was still working away. And now I'm working at getting the pressure dust in onto the pad to get a rough grade and get this compacted before I leave today. And it's all working out as planned, even with the little bit of extra work that the customer asked me to do. It's going to be perfect. Tomorrow I plan on coming back, and we're going to put a layer 3 to 4 inches of 0 to 3/4. No, actually, we're going to do a layer of crusher dust in the morning, and we're going to use a pipe system to level our pad, and then we can make a nice level pad. Well, here's my fourth load of rock. I was boogieing trying to get some of this into the pad while he was gone to go get that last load. I didn't want it strung all over the driveway. But anyway, it's going to work out quite nicely, and we're going to keep spreading rock and get this compacted before I leave today. Normally, I would do my own hauling, but because of where we were and I was trying to do this in a 2-day time frame, I opted to hire the truck to bring me the material. If I would have been closer to home, I would have priced this job on a 3-day job, and I would have hauled the rock myself, and I could have placed it more on the pad. I didn't want the truck to go over top of the edge of the pavement. I didn't want it to break the pave edge, so that's why I chose not to get him to dump into the pad area, and that's why I'm moving it around with the excavator. The customer's caretaker comes over with his little tractor here shortly and gives me a hand to push some of this material in for me. So the truck driver has given me the slip, and it's pretty cool. This is a gentleman I actually graduated high school from. So I haven't seen him for 30 plus years, and we had a little chat, and it was nice to see him. I've run heavy equipment for a long time and done some big projects when I worked for my father. And every time I do a job, I learn. This is the second garage pad that I did. I did one last fall, a little bit different than this one. We had 26 loads of shale that we had to build up the back corner. This one here, I learned some things from that job that I carried over to here. And if I do it again, I would probably dig out all the edge first. That way my materials, if you look over to the left, there's some spoils of the dirt when I was digging. I would probably do that a little different. I would probably, before I compact it with the compactor, I'd probably track it in a bit with the machine. Just a few little things that I've kind of noticed while I was working. It would be nice to be able to have my tractor here. Some of this work that I'm doing right now can be done with the little excavator. It doesn't have a lot of power to push, but it does a pretty good job just the same. It might have been a little bit quicker with the tractor, and but that means bringing 2 pieces of equipment, and sometimes that's not feasible. I am thinking about purchasing a trailer that will haul the excavator and the tractor at the same time. Still looking at that option. I'm looking at it pretty strongly, actually. And but anyway, we're working away at this pad. The amount of rock that we got, 4 loads, is going to work out perfect, and we will get this pad all laid out, and it's working quite nicely. It's nice to work with this kind of material. It works easy, and there's not a lot of big rocks, so it levels out pretty good. It was hot this day, and I was beat by the time I was done. The open cab doesn't give you any cooling, so when it's hot and not windy, it's hot. I still don't believe that the cost of a machine with an open cab for what I'm doing is feasible. The salesman told me that an open cab would have been $20,000 to $25,000 more. So yeah, it would be nice at times when it's cold or when it's really hot, but on the most part, this machine is working out quite nicely. I'm quite happy with it, and I've got a lot of jobs lined up in the next coming weeks. Anyway, we're just going to work away here, pushing this gravel onto this pad, and then we're going to do just a rough grade. We're not going to worry about how close we are. The next day I have a load of 0 to 3/4, or 0 crusher dust actually, to do the finish grade, and we're going to use a system that unfortunately you're not going to see because my camera did not take any video. But I have a couple of jobs coming up that I will focus on how I did the pad here, and it will explain quite well. But we're going to continue working away. So my estimation of 2 days was correct. The first day, like I say, this day my plan was to get the pad dug out and the gravel put in and compacted. And I was successful to get that amount done in the time frame I had set out today. The next day we worked pretty hard, and as hot as it is this day, the next day was worse, and the humidity was unreal, and we probably could have had the job done in a couple hours quicker than we did it, but because of the heat we took some breaks, and we took our time, and we put the water to us just to keep us from overheating, and we were still hot. So it was a miserable day, but I had to get this job done because I was going to work the next day, and I didn't have time on Friday to come to finish it. Worst case scenario, I could have done it, but I had plans for another job on Friday, which it didn't happen because at the end of this day, when I jumped in the truck to go home, I was leaving the excavator and my trailer here, but the truck decided to have an issue, and I broke a fan belt. Well, it's the only belt that's on the truck actually. Come to find out, the AC belt, or the AC compressor seized up, and that's why the belt broke. It took me 2 days to get a belt, so I ordered a belt and a new AC compressor, and then I came up on Friday. Chris came up with me. I was hoping to get it done, and Chris could drive the car back, but I had a short time frame. I had to be in Fredericton, which was an hour away, at 3:30, so at 2:15 we left, and we got the AC compressor out, but we were having issues getting it back in, and so we didn't get it done. And I came back on Saturday, and my cousin Darren, he came with me, and he's a mechanic, and with the two of us we did get it in. There was some stuff that wasn't lining up quite right, and I don't understand why it wasn't. It was just to take off and put back on, but we were probably an hour and a half putting it back together, and we did get it going, and we got her home, so that worked out quite nicely, and I was glad to get that back. And I believe yesterday, today is the 26th of June, but yesterday the cement guy was there to put the cement pad in, so hopefully everything worked out nicely for him, and it all went well. Every job I do, I learn, and one of the biggest things is the way I do my transit. I need to take a moment and figure out where I need to set the transit so it can stay in one spot. This job was pretty good. I put it to the far left of the pad, and it worked pretty good. Now, because I broke the receiver, I had to use the receiver off of my transit stick, and the receiving part of that receiver doesn't have as big of a degree to catch the receiver, so I had a little bit of issue there, but my other receiver has a wider angle, and it would have been perfect. I am going to send that receiver away, try to get fixed, but in the meantime I did get another one because I feel it's an asset to have when I'm doing these type of jobs, and I just need to orientate the transmitter in the right place so I can do the job and not have to move it. So it's learning as I go, and it's working out pretty well. I enjoy doing this type of work. It's rewarding. You see from when you started to when you finish, and the progress can be fairly quick, so you can see the transformation very fast. This here was a little bit fussier because I wanted the pad pretty flat, and the customer came over to me and he said, "You're going above and beyond what a garage pad needs to be." And I said, "Well, I'm not going to do a half-assed job. I'm going to do it properly. I don't want the contractor that's coming in to do the cement to have any complaints. So I'm going to do the best I can and give him a good product to work off of." So hopefully he was happy. I haven't heard back, and they get this garage built. Maybe if I'm up that way, I will go check it out also. So here's my compactor. It does an awesome job. Like I said, I don't have to follow it or walk behind it or anything like that, and it compacts pretty well. I did rent a finished compactor to do the final pad because it does a nicer job. The next pad I do, I'm going to try it with this one on the finished part, but like I say, it doesn't leave a nice finish as a small one that you walk behind, so I may purchase a smaller one in the future that will kind of play it by ear. But this one does work really, really well, and I'm quite pleased with it. And it's a lot less work. Once you hook it up, you just kind of work away. Doing this type of work takes time. It's unreal how much time it takes. It took me 5 to 6 hours to dig this pad out. There was about 3 inches on one side and about 18 inches towards the pavement. It just takes time, and you just dig away, dig away, dig away. Now compacting it like this, it took me probably, this pad, probably 45 minutes to a half hour. Well, it's hot. You can tell by my face. I think we're at a humidex of 40, and we're doing a pad. We've got her all flattened out, and we're gonna give her a compaction. Maybe have a heart attack at the same time. I don't know.
Somewhere along the line.
Somewhere along the line. Anyway, well, it was hot today. 40 degrees humidex, and we got this pad done. So it's a 26 by 26 pad. We're gonna have a 3-foot apron. Anyway, got a little bit of left over to do the transition to the pavement. But she's looking good, and we're off. Thanks for coming. I'll put some links to some other videos, and until the next adventure, stay safe.